So this is April 2022, and I've gotten really old. I've been fortunate enough to live a long time, and my body is telling me my life is winding down. So I decided that because I lived such an amazing life, that I wanted to make some videos on what I would have done different if I knew now what I knew then. So first, this is my first video. I'm going to start off with my life in a summary. So the first 18 years of my life, my mother was Satan, and my fathers were the Manson family, and I lived in hell, and I didn't think I would survive it, but I did. So eventually, I'm going to put out some videos on how to survive an abusive family with a lot of violence. Remember, back in those days, there just weren't laws protecting children the way there are today. So my goal was to turn 18 without being crippled and striking out on my own, which I did. So my best friend from high school, her name is Cindy Wilson, lent me $150, and her mother drove me to Santa Cruz when I was 18. And I got a job there at a Golden West pancake house, and I've got a bunch of stories about Golden West. And the way I got the job was because I introduced the guy that was managing it to his future wife. And that's going to be a whole video by itself, because this was truly one of the great love stories. So eventually I got a job working at Carrillo College, and I got a job there as a teacher's assistant for a teacher named Judy Slottom, who was one of the best teachers I ever had. She was the costume designer, and she also taught theater arts. And I worked as a stage manager for costumes. And years later, when I became an engineer, the same lessons that I learned as a costume manager, I used as a manager for different projects. So I'm going to get into that in a great detail later on. So while I was there, I decided to apply for a job at the Oregon Shakespearean Festival in 1975, and they hired me. So in 1975, I took a plane trip to Ashland, Oregon. This is me and this girl I danced with. Her name was Rebecca Robinson, and she was just a really wonderful person. And I was so lucky to work there. This was the 1975 cover of the Shakespearean Festival. And there was people that actually went on to become very famous. Probably the most famous is William Hurt, who won an Oscar for Best Actor for Kiss of the Spider Woman. And I have a picture of him. Here he is blowing his nose. And there was, here's another picture of him. See how young he looked? It was so long ago. See right there? And there was another actress there named Jean Smart, who starred in a TV series called Designing Women. And there's a little picture of me over here dancing. Can barely see it. And it was just so much fun. You could work part-time at the festival making extra money if you did things like, give tours or work in places they needed you. And so I gave tours. So, I got to walk around and talk about the outdoor theater, which holds 1,200 and something people, and the indoor theater, which holds 601 people. And I've got a million stories about the festival. It's like so fantastic. And there was a number of really famous people to come out of there, like Bruce Abbott. I worked with him every day. And he starred in the Reanimator movies. And there's a picture of him somewhere. Oh, here it is. Look at it. He looks like a little kid. And there was even a very famous porn star right here. Right there. His porn name was Rick Savage. But of course, at the time, he was a gifted dancer and a really nice guy. I was surprised that everyone there was just so wonderful. So when I finished, at the end of the season, I moved to San Francisco. And I just couldn't get a job. So a friend of mine invited me to come to Salt Lake City. And I have stories about Salt Lake City. All those Mormons you just can't believe. They're not as, well, let me tell you, the most fun day of the year is Halloween because everybody's in masks and nobody knows who anybody is. So I was there for a while and there was just nothing there for me. No really good job or anything. So I decided to join the military. So I joined the Army and I had my basic training in Fort Ord in California. It was the last basic training to go through Fort Ord. And then I had my AIT in Fort Sill. And I was a forward observer, which is basically a surveyor with a gun. And I was an honor graduate because the entire course is almost nothing but geometry and math, because you have to figure out your location from the position of the sun or the moon or landmarks with a theodolite, and you give location and direction, azimuth, to tanks. And I was part of the 3rd Battalion, 16th Field Artillery, 8th Infantry Division, and I was assigned to Headquarters Battery. But before my last year, there was a scandal going on, which I'll talk about. And I was transferred over to S2, which is military intelligence, and they handle, all the classified material, and and there I worked very hard, and I was awarded a Army Commendation Medal. Right there, that's what it looks like. And that's really important because I have a story about what happened when I visited relatives in Virginia after I got out of the service. That's what it looks like, Department of the Army. So after I got out of the military, I got a job, working at a company that made laboratory testing equipment for automotive and aerospace. I worked on the assembly line, and I took guitar lessons, and I played at bars and with friends all around Chicago. But then I was getting close to 30, and I got a message from the Department of the Army that they were going to end my GI Bill if I didn't use it. And I wasn't making it anywhere as an artist because I was, going out and partying all the time and getting high. So I applied for college. I went to Roosevelt University and I studied engineering. And so I eventually became an engineer and designed laboratory testing equipment for automotive and aerospace. Like this XR260, I was the mechanical design engineer for this project. And I see this right here. This is a project I also worked on with some absolutely fantastic engineers. And this picture is actually photorealistic. It's not a picture of the actual instrument. This picture I made before the first instrument was even built, because I had been studying 3D as part of my college. And so I worked there for 38 years, and finally I retired. And while I was there, I participated in 3D graphics contests. I won a third place for the Animation Master, third place. And while I was working at Atlas, I did a lot of invention, and I got a whole boatload of U.S. patents that they put them on these bronze or tin or whatever, some material, and then they put a picture of the invention, and then tell something about the patent and you and what it does. So I've got those hanging in my living room. So anyway, that's a summary of my life. Now I'll tell you, I would have done so many things different, but I just didn't know any better. So when I went into the military, my military career would have been completely different. But I had to trust the people there at the recruitment office, because I didn't know anybody who'd been in the military. And even though the job was interesting, there's so many career opportunities in the military that I would rather have taken advantage of. And then working at the Oregon Shakespearean Festival, man, I tell you, I limited myself as a dancer, but the dancers had the opportunity to act in the plays. They had the opportunity to actually be in the plays if they auditioned, because the people there want the best possible performances. But there were 3 of the dancers that actually got parts beyond dancing. I think I have a picture here somewhere of them. Oh, here they are, right here. These 3 people here. These were also dancers. One of them is Bruce Abbott, and I forget the names of the other 2. I have to look them up. So I should have done that. And so anyway, I'm going to talk about people I've known and some of their accomplishments, because I've been so lucky to meet really interesting people from different areas. And I'm even going to put together a video on ceramics, because I do all kinds of ceramics. And so that's it. This will be the first video I posted a long time on my YouTube site. So I'll notify when I do individual videos. I can't wait to do videos about how I grew up, because it was the worst experience a human being could go through. I'm just so glad that I made it through that terrible time in my life. The first 18 years of my life were so bad that the next 50 years after that were just amazing. Okay, talk to you later.